Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Literary Lord, and as discussed today we're going to be discussing another poetry from the class 9 syllabus, which is called The Cold Within, written by James Patrick Kinney. Now, before I start explaining you about this poetry, The Cold Within, let me first of all tell you certain incidents which happened with James Patrick Kinney, which made his mind to write such a poetry which is against racism and casteism and colorism, whatsoever you may call so, or in simpler words we can say, which is against the barriers between humans based on colors, castes, and creeds. Right now, James Patrick Kinney used to live at Cheviot, and there was a law made by city council that no black person was allowed to walk on the streets once the sun goes down. Now, James Kinney, being a liberal and a big-hearted guy, he felt that this law is sort of a discriminatory, right? It's sort of a racist sort of a law. So he just went to the city council and said, I don't feel like this law is alright, right? So the city council said that, hey, the place where you live in, for where the law is, there is no black family. There is literally no black family lives there. So I believe if a guy who is loitering on the streets after the sun goes down, then he must be some sort of a miscreant, right? So James Kinney had to come back. But another incident happened that there was a black family. They were willing to move to Cheviot. So James Kinney helped them in coming to the Cheviot, and then he again went to the city council and said that now there is a black family, so you can just put off that law, and that happened. And that happened, right? And there were very many people in their society which didn't like that act of helping that black family getting shifted to Cheviot and living there with them. So these were some sort of things which brought that in mind, which brought this poetry in James Patrick Kinney's mind that, hey, we are human beings, but still we are divided with these walls based on casteism, racism, colorism, or very many other things. Now, then he wrote this poetry, The Cold Within, which generally talks about a certain winter night where there were 6 people of different castes and different colors and different communities, and they were not cooperating with each other. Now, how they were not cooperating with each other, I'll be explaining you in the poetry. So they were not cooperating with each other, which brought them a deadly death, and they finally died with their cold attitude. So the cold within is actually the cold within, the cold attitude, the cold mentality we all are having, which is racism. Oh my God, he's got a dark color. I should not talk to him. Oh my God, he's so poor. I should not talk to him. That's the cold attitude. That's the cold within that James Patrick Kinney is trying to talk about. So let's just start the poetry. Here I've written it. The Cold Within, James Patrick Kinney. Now here's the poetry. The first stanza. 6 humans trapped by happenstance in a bleak and bitter cold. Each one possessed a stick of wood. Or so the story is told. Now, 6 humans trapped by happenstance. So there were 6 humans, as I told you. There's 6 humans. They were trapped by a coincidence and a very winter night. There were no shelter, and it was really cold. Generally those places are so cold. So 6 humans trapped by happenstance, by coincidence, in a bleak and bitter cold, and charmless and dreary cold. It was so cold, and they were all trapped without shelter. Each one possessed a stick of wood. Each one of them were having one stick of wood, a big log of wood, which could have been used to burn and fire and get some heat and get escaped from that dreary coldness, right? Or the story is told, right? The second stanza, they're dying fire in need of logs. The first man held his back. For the focus round the fire, he noticed one was black. Now, one more thing we get to know is that they were trapped in that dreary cold night without shelter. But one thing they were having was a small fire in front of them, But that fire was dying because of that coal, and because of there was nothing to enhance that fire. But every human being, all of those six of them, they were having a log. So if they would have used it to put it in the fire and enhance the fire, make it more bigger and larger, they would have gotten more heat, and the fire would have lasted long. But what happened? The dying fire in need of logs, the first man held his back. The first man, he held his back. No, I'm not going to give my log. No, not at all. For the focus around the fire. Now, because he focused on a particular person around the fire, he noticed one was black. He noticed that there was one black guy, and the guy who was sitting with the log, he was a white guy. He saw, oh my God, there's a black guy. If I give my wooden log, it'll be used by everyone, and to that black guy as well. It will help him. Why should I help him? Why should I waste my wooden log for that black guy? He's a dark guy, and I'm a white guy. I'm superior. That was the attitude of that guy. They were dying fire in need of logs. The fire needed the logs. The fire needed logs, the wooden logs. But the first man held his back for the faces around the fire. He noticed one was black. I'm not gonna give my log, right? Because there's a black guy, and I'm not gonna cooperate with him. I'm not gonna help him. I'm not even gonna look at him or talk to him because he doesn't deserve. I'm a white guy, right? That was the attitude. That's the casteist and racist attitude. Moving on towards the next stanza. The next man looking across the way saw one not of his church and couldn't bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. Birch is a wooden log. Again, the same thing. So the another man, obviously he was also having a wooden log. So he said he was looking across the way and he saw one guy who was not from his church but from other one. He might be a Catholic and the other one might be a Protestant or something else. But he was not from his church. So he said, why should I put my log into the fire so that it benefits not only me, but all of these guys and that guy who's not from my church? Why should I help the guy who's not from my church? I mean, like, I am just made from my church. Humans are just made from my church. God has made just the people who are of my church. And all of these people, I don't know who are they. Or I don't know who has made them. No. He was having that sort of an attitude that, hey, why should I care about that guy? He's not from my clan. He's not from my community. He's not from my church. Why should I just help him? And again, the difference came in front of his eyes, and he sat with his log, then gave it to the fire. The third stanza. The third one sat in tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? Now, there was the third guy who was sitting with a little bit tattered and torn and old clothes. Obviously, I believe he was a poor guy. He gave his coat a hitch. He gave his coat a jerk. Hey, he was hiding his log. Hey, I'm not going to give it. Why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? I mean, like, why should I give my log to the fire so that it can benefit to me and all of these people and that rich guy who's totally opposite to me? I'm poor, and why should I help that rich guy? I mean, like, why? He's rich, he's having lots of money, lots of wealth, he doesn't care about the poor. So it's time to take revenge. Let's just not give him the log. Let's give it back. I will not give it to him. It's a revenge time, right? Again, the revenge and the sort of the differentiative and discriminative feeling came in front of his eyes, and it made him blind. And he then gave his log to the fire to benefit the people. Now, the other man, the rich man, just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. Shiftless means ambitionless. Now, it's the turn, the rich man. He said, he just sat back and thought that, oh my God, I've got so much of wealth. I've got so much of money, so much of jewelries and ornaments and great lands and cars and everything, big villas. Now, how to save all of these things from that shiftless, ambitionless, ugly-looking poor? Why should I give all of these things or anything be put to use which might benefit to that poor? I have earned it. I have worked hard for it. Why should I give it to anyone else? I'm not a human being. I'm a selfish guy. That's a sort of a thing, you know. Can you see the barriers between the humans, rich and poor, my church, your church, white and black, and all of these things? Can you see that? It just happened like that. Moving on to another stanza. Now the black man's turn. The black man's face bespoke revenge, as the fire passed from his sight. For all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. Again, the revenge. The same feeling which the poor guy had. Why should I give my log to this fire, and which would benefit that rich as well? Why should I do that? The same with the black man. He said that now this is the time to take revenge from all of these white people. I will not give my log. I will not give my log, that my wooden log. Why will I give that to the fire which will benefit those white and people, white looking and white blooded people who have always disrespected us? Why should I do that? Why should I give it to him? Because he was having revenge. And a sort of a feeling as well. Oh my God, he's white. He's not of our community. So you see the differences in the people. The black man's face bespoke revenge. He was having the revenge. The bespoke is a gesture of face, right? As the fire passed from his sight, for all he saw in his stick of wood, all he saw, his stick of wood else, everything as if he had, was a chance to spite the white. It was a chance to hurt that white guy. I'm gonna hurt you by not giving that log to the fire. I'm gonna defeat you. I'm gonna overcome you by not giving that log to the fire, because that's gonna benefit you. So I'm not gonna give it to you, man. Damn it. Moving on to another stanza. The last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain, and giving only those who gave was how he played the game. Now the last man think that, hey, everyone's having a vlog, but they're not. Everyone's having a log. I'm sorry, I'm again saying vlog. It's just a sort of error. I'm really sorry about that. So the last man said, hey, everyone is having a log and they're not putting it in the fire, then why should I do that? I mean, like, what? An eye for an eye, the whole world will be blind. Obviously, that was the attitude of that guy. If they're not giving me, if these people, they're not giving the log to the fire, then why should I do that? Why should I give the log to the fire? I mean, like, I'll be in the loss. So I'm in the gain. If they're not giving it, I'm also not giving it. That's it. All right. Moving on. Their logs held tight in death's still hands was proof of human sin. They didn't die from the cold without. They died from the cold within. The last stanza said that in the morning when the people reached that place, they saw all of those 6 men. They were dead, with the log tightly covered with their hands near the body, because they didn't want to give it to the fire or to anyone who might utilize it, right? Because the people were different. The people were away from the color. The people were away from the church, from the community, from the financial classes. The people were totally different. And some were really greedy, selfish, self-centered. So in morning they were all found dead. But they didn't die because of that cold weather. Obviously, the cold weather might be a medium to kill them, but that was not the actually thing which killed them. Because they died because of that cold within, that cold attitude, that cold bloody mindset, that we are from a higher clan. Because I'm a fair guy, because I'm a rich guy, I'm superior from that poor guy. Because I've studied more, I'm superior from all of those uneducated and illiterate people. No, we all are humans. God has made it, just one God has made all of these humans who are black, who are white, who are rich, who are poor, who are from this church, who are from that church, who are from this religion, who are from that religion. Everyone has been created by one creator, one God. And everyone gets that same sun rays with that same amount. Everyone gets that same amount of oxygen. Alright, there are variations in the atmosphere. But we all are same. We all are humans. We all have got 2 eyes, 1 nose, 2 ears, 1 mouth, 2 hands, 2 legs, 1 stomach, 1 chest, 1 heart. We all are same. It's just that appearances might differentiate. But that doesn't mean that we feel We bring up that feeling of racism and build whole big walls around us and tell the people, no, you're black, you're not allowed in here. No, you're poor, you're not allowed in here. No, you're from other religion, you're not allowed in here. No, you're from other church, you're not allowed in here. That's not the way. God has not made us to build walls. God has made us to stay together, see the message of God. The sun rays coming to everyone in every part of the world, and everyone's getting that same amount of sun rays, same amount of oxygen. I'm repeating these things because I want to focus not just on the poetry, but a normal message. That God has given you a message that everyone is equal. Then why are you just doing that? That, no, we're not equal. We're awesome. I'm fair. I'm rich. Why are we doing? Why? What if you get black? All of a sudden you wake up and you feel, oh my God, I've become black. Oh my God, I've become poor. Oh my God, I'm fat, thin, tall, short. You don't know what may happen the next day. If the poet has tried to give us a simple message that with this sort of bloody cold mentality, we're gonna go nowhere but to death. We're gonna go nowhere but to death. We're gonna die eventually, and everyone's gonna die. But with this cold mentality, we're gonna have a really painful and dreading death. So hope you guys enjoyed this poetry. It's a very nice poetry written by James Patrick Kinney. Really appreciate that, his work against racism and casteism, colorism, and all of those barriers among humans. It's a really pretty nice poetry. So hope this video is helpful for your examinations and for your knowledge or whatever purpose you're watching this video. Hope this is going to be useful for you, and stay tuned because in the next video we're going to pick up third poetry of the class 9 syllabus. Until then, thank you so much. Bye bye.